Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go through this 2009 Toyota Corolla and fix everything that's broken on it. My name is Jeremy, this is Region Automotive, and let's get to work. Alright, let's talk about the car a little bit before we jump into the work and why I'm doing the work. This one's a little different. This is a cash job for me. So this isn't like my usual flip car where I buy this and fix all the small things and sell it for profit. This is actually my sister's car, and funny story behind this thing. This used to be my car. I bought this, I don't know, 2019 or 2020, I think. And as per me and my usual car habits, I got tired of it after about a month or 2 months, so I wanted to get rid of it. And my sister happened to be looking for a car. And this is a car that I would definitely, or that I endorsed to her. At the time, I think it had it's really low kilometers, like 120 or 130,000 K on it. And I bought it from the original owner, and he literally had a stack of maintenance receipts from the dealership from new. So I sold this thing to my sister 4 or 5 years ago. She's put 100,000 K on it with next to no problems. She wants to keep it, hopes to get, well, I don't know what her plan is. She was talking about keeping it or selling it and getting an SUV, but she's in no rush to get rid of it because it's been such a great car. So I inspected it about 2 weeks ago, and she wanted me to fix all the small things on it. So here's the parts, what we're doing. One of the issues she was having, I'll see if I can replicate it on video here, is the starters clicking a little bit, or not clicking, sticking a little bit when she'd start. You'd start the car and you just feel just a slight scratch, and I'm pretty sure that's the starter solenoid not retracting fully. That's pretty common for starters. So again, I'll see if I can get that on camera. And then when I was under the car, I noticed the front of the water pump was leaking slightly, and I know that's an issue on Toyotas, so we got a water pump for it. And just for good maintenance, we are going to throw some spark plugs in it, and then we're going to change the manual transmission fluid. Okay, I have you set up on the starter here. Even just looking at it under the light, the whole body is just corroded there, so it's definitely the original starter, so it's a good thing. We're replacing it, and then I will start the car and see if I can replicate the solenoid sticking. You know the old saying where your car will do an issue 100 times and it doesn't do it the one time you take it to the mechanic? I guess it's the same case when I try to replicate the starter sticking on camera here, but it's also possible too. It did do it earlier this morning when I started it, when I was sitting all night and it was cold, so it's possible that, running the starter back and forth a couple times unstuck the solenoid for the day or whatever. I don't know. Regardless, we're going to replace it because it is sticking. Our new AC Delco starter going in. With the starter done, we're going to quickly do our spark plugs here. These look like they may be the original plugs. Probably not actually, denso iridium, but it's good that we're replacing them. It looks like the porcelain's pretty burnt there, so the tip doesn't look, it actually looks decently worn. It's definitely good that we're replacing these. These will make the car run better and get slightly better fuel mileage. I also forgot to mention, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so I can start doing cooler stuff like rebuilding LS engines and swapping it into stuff instead of fixing Toyotas for a living. Okay, next on our list we are going to do the water pump, and again, since it's my sister's car and she plans on keeping it or whatever, wants maximum reliability, we got ASIN, which is, I believe actually Toyota owns that brand. Not 100% sure, but I think they do. Anyway, I am pretty happy so far with the quality of the kit. It comes with a gasket and new hardware, which is interesting. I never would have guessed that it comes with new hardware. And then we'll crawl under the car and I'll show you why we are replacing the water pump. So we are under the car and you can actually see quite a bit of pink residue built up. That's dried coolant, and you can see it's kind of trickling up from above the pulley there. So it's leaking from the front seal, which is pretty common for these cars. I've also had issues before. This is another thing I'm not a huge fan of when there's a manual tensioner on these cars. I like it when there's an auto tensioner because then you don't have to guess and check with the tightness of the belt. But I've had issues with the belt being too tight or too loose and squealing, and we've gotten it just right. So I'm gonna mark the threads on the tensioner so I know exactly where to put it when I put the belt back on. So I ended up completely removing the alternator. That made it a lot easier to get clearance for the water pump. And the water pump was pretty simple to get off. Actually, it's only 5 12mm head bolts there. And I'm really happy to work on this car because I had clearance between the water pump and the frame rail. I truly thought I was going to have to support the engine, take this engine mount off, and lower the engine to get clearance for the water pump. But that's a bro move by Toyota to leave room there to actually work on the side of the engine with the engine in the car. So maybe that makes up for the manual tensioner and the smaller spark plugs I was complaining about earlier. So anyway, yeah, now that's out. I'm gonna clean it up, put my new gasket in, new water pump, and then torque it up. And then our last job for today is the manual transmission flush. Okay, got the water pump all buttoned up. That again really wasn't that bad to work on with that clearance there between the frame rail. And then that little trick actually helped so much, marking the manual tensioner bolt there. So again, I just tightened it right up and I mark the top of the threads, so I'll tighten it right up, and it's exactly how I took it off, so I don't even have to start it and mess around. And then last thing on our list, doing the manual transmission flush. So I got the fill plug off there with like a little tube, already drained the fluid, took the air box, battery, all that stuff. I took that out earlier, and then she's getting the good stuff. Maybe the purple stuff at least. Royal purple fluid. Only reason why it's getting it is because I happen to have these kicking around for the past 2 or 3 years, so it'd be nice to use them up. But yeah, I'm gonna fill up the manual transmission, then we'll start it up and bleed the cooling system and see how she runs. We have everything back together here. Started right up with the new starter, so that's good. Have my handy little bleeding funnel here that's just burping away. I got the heat on high, full blast with the fan, and so far looks like we don't have any leaks on the water pump. Can't really see a whole bunch from here, but there's no seeping and there's 0 drops on the ground, so I'm happy with that repair. The heat's nice and hot, as you guys can feel, he said sarcastically, and there's no more bubbles coming out of my funnel, so I'm pretty, okay, well there's one, but they're few and far between, so I'm happy that that system's bled, so I will get rid of the rest. Now it starts to bubble. Anyway, I will wait until it's absolutely done bubbling, and then I'll get rid of that little bit of coolant, put the cap on, and our repairs are done. Okay, now that the job is done on that one, I will show you guys kind of how I charge for these side jobs. So I started today at 8 in the morning, and then I worked till about 10:30, and then I actually ended up showing that white Kia. I'm probably gonna release this video first, and then I have a flip video on a white Kia. I showed that this morning, and I'm pretty confident it's gonna sell this weekend, so stay tuned for that video. But anyway, so 8 to 10:30, showed the Kia, then I went and picked up some supplies, so I started about around noon, and then I went till 2 p.m. That's about what time it is now, so I'm done everything. So it's total about 4.5 hours, round up to 5 hours. So labor, usually My friend and family rate, I guess, is like if anyone wants me, like I don't prefer working on cars for people, but if someone needs help and they want me to work on their car, I just charge 75 bucks an hour for however long it takes me. So that's 375 bucks for labor, supplies, coolant, deionized water, Royal Purple, the gear oil there. So that's about 100 bucks. Multiply by 1.25 just for the time to go get it, and just to round up for the numbers to make it easy. So 125 bucks for supplies. Total equals $500 for labor and supplies for that job. And then I believe we paid about $370 for parts on Rock Auto. So that's $870 total that my sister will pay to do the starter, water pump, spark plugs, and transmission flush on that thing. So that's not too bad. Like if she took that to a shop, they'd charge her probably, I'd say at least $1,500, maybe even close to double. All right, guys, that's my video how I make $500 in one day fixing up this 2009 Toyota Corolla. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. If not, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Have a good day.